trending topics, we got you covered.
If it's buzzing, we're breaking it down.
Good afternoon, I'm Janina, Vela. We may be young, but we're not naive. We ask questions, challenge the narrative, and we're learning in real time.
And I'm Iolo Braganza. We cut through the noise to find out what deserves your attention. So for the next half hour, it's time for our
Unpopular Opinion.
Unpopular opinion. Say it again. Say it again. Unpopular opinion. We are open for discussion.
Grabe no, Janina. So, first episode, I'm
First
on.
episode, welcome to the show,
Yes,
Iolo.
but more importantly, the past few days have been quite controversial. Maraming
Yeah.
nangyari yesterday, and you were there live to see the
And-
action unfold. So, Janina,
Yes.
how was your report in Congress yesterday?
Oh my gosh, well, I was there because akala namin magta-top story si Congress. But
Yes.
in a stunning turn of events, na-plot twist kami and the eyes were on the Senate yesterday. But it was still fun to report my first breaking news on the impeachment yesterday.
And sabay-sabay nangyari, no? May nangyari sa Congress na botohan and may nangyari na change of leadership sa Senate. But first, with Congress, ano naman yung opinion mo since, like they said in the show yesterday, hindi naman unanimous pero malaki yung turnout. And how does Congress feel about that? Or how do you feel Congress is acting on this impeachment case?
Yeah, I know. Well, we were able to speak to different congressmen, and they were all pretty much surprised because we were expecting at least 215, like what happened last year. But 255 or 257 rather was really a surprise for a lot of our congressmen, and even for the ones who voted no, they were also surprised.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
From 256 not, and then 25 who voted no, and then however many abstentions.
Yeah.
It's seemingly a big tidal wave of maybe is it confidence, maybe is it just a resounding, strong, unified opinion in Congress for a very big majority of them. But then, outside of that, we move to the Senate. Maraming
Yes.
nangyari sa Senado. Could you break down
Maraming
what happened in the Senate
nangyari.
yesterday?
Yes, well, you know, it was, the timing of it was very, very interesting, no?
Definitely.
Because once the impeachment was, once we got the plenary vote, right, we were set to transport the articles of impeachment to the Senate. And actually, they were transported just now, right, today.
Yes.
But while we were awaiting that, there was a little bit of a Senate coup
Yes.
that happened, which really took everybody by surprise. Well, except for the senators, apparently, because they did talk about it on Sunday. I know that Senator Robin Padilla said that he had dinner with the Duterte bloc. At sabi niya, they didn't even know that na matutuloy nung Monday because kulang pa daw yung boto. So it was really surprising that Bato was able to show up suddenly after 5 months of being absent. And then, you know, they were able to get the 13 votes needed to elect a new Senate president.
Yeah, and a lot of things, a lot of other things happened with Senator Bato.
Yes.
From the moment he arrived at the gates
Yeah.
of the upper house down to getting into the final chamber. But according to our producers and according to the show, Senator Bato has not been receiving his salary from his time of absence in the Senate. What are your thoughts on
Yun
that?
daw. Yes, well, he said, right, that he didn't receive salary. He was just asking for compensation for his team. And I know that they were able to also release some policies in that time period. So I guess tama naman that they get the salary that they deserve.
Yeah.
But is that, I don't know, I feel like that's still a privileged position because our regular Filipinos, our regular Filipino workers cannot just leave for 5 months, go into nature, as Bato said he did, and, you know, just wala siyang sweldo, pero babalik lang siya and he questions why people are questioning that he's back, right? And so I admire him siguro for not taking the salary, but I still wonder if this was a regular Filipino employee, would this be allowed?
Well, two things to break down there, no? Number one, Senator Bato was not in the Senate, but his office was still operating.
Yes.
So definitely, for those who were operating in the office, they deserve their salary kasi
Tama.
nagtrabaho sila. For Senator Bato, he was not in Congress, so he was not in the Senate,
Yes.
so he was not working. Now, I don't know specifically on what the mandate is regarding the absences are there. Because, syempre, may paid leave din naman yung mga empleyado natin. I'm sure hindi naman aabot na 5
May
buwan
VL,
or 6 na
yeah.
buwan, diba? Baka inubos na niya yung good
VL, SL, lahat na lang.
Baka inubos niya.
Maternity leave.
6 years yung term niya. Baka inubos na niya yung pang 6 years worth
Sana
of leave
tapos,
sa 5 buwan niyang
I
mag-absent.
wonder, is it counted as a leave if he gets arrested?
I'm not sure also.
I don't know.
We
Well,
might have to
I
ask
will do
Nestor
my research on
one.
that one
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, he described this moment as the lowest point in his life, diba? Parang he was pleading to our president to not give him up to the ICC, correct?
Yes. Well, historically, si Senator Bato has thrown out a lot of statements regarding the ICC case. So, where he stands now, syempre nandito tayo ngayon. And I think I can definitely agree on an objective standpoint. This might be the lowest that he is in his political career as of the moment, and maybe even as a lawmaker. But ikaw, ano ba yung thoughts mo in terms of how we define this lowest moment? Is he hitting rock bottom, or is it justified, not justified? What are your thoughts?
I wouldn't say it's the lowest. I wouldn't also say that it's a regular day. But for example, everybody has to be accountable. So if there's a charge, for example, for me, if I was innocent of a charge of killing 32 people allegedly, right? I would have nothing to hide. Like, okay, let's talk about it. You want to hear my side of the story? I'll tell you because alam ko, innocent ako.
That's
right?
true.
And so as a senator, I feel like it's his duty to even tell his constituents if he believes that he is innocent, tell them why he's innocent para then the people who support him know why. And they have the evidence to keep supporting him factually.
Yes. Well, hopefully due process and
Yes.
the rule of law will take in effect for this one, and however the proceedings may go, bantayan natin in the coming days on how it will unfold.
Yes, so we will keep updated with that. But up next, looking at all the drama in the Senate and even in the Congress, what are young voters supposed to think about today's politics? We unpack that POV with Pantay director Frank Araneta after the break. So don't go away. Unpopular Opinion will be right back.
Welcome back to an unpopular opinion. As the Senate drama unfolds, what do we think about the fiasco it's all becoming? So,
What kind of politics are young voters dealing with? And is it reasonable that a lot of us don't really exercise our right to participate anymore? So to help us unpack that controversial POV is student leader and director of Pantay, Frank Araneta. Let's clock it! Good.
all right, Frank, so we've seen the news as a youth leader. So how do these political developments affect you? And why do you think it's important to be involved as, our generation, Gen Z, today?
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Frank.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
I think a lot has happened, no? Of course, since yesterday, what Janina also mentioned, that things happened, although all at the same time, we thought that the House impeachment in the House of Representatives will be the huge beat of the day, but definitely that was not the thing, no? What happened doon sa Senate. So, sobrang dami to unpack. Pero for me, the current political landscape, let's say, is that the youth are engaged. No?
Yeah.
They want to know what's happening, and they are exhausting all their efforts to be engaged.
Yeah, and how is the youth now, right? So we're updated, we're talking, it's loud on social media. What's the response that you've seen about Monday? Literally just 24 hours.
Yeah. Sobrang galit, no? Galit yung mga kabataan. Since tuloy-tuloy, we thought that from the House, no, happy yun, no? Happy result. He mentioned earlier that the votes for impeachment were overwhelming. No? So it was a hope for us that when it reached Senate, no, at that time, at the helm of Senator Tito Soto, no, it may have a chance. No?
Yeah.
But we were surprised doon sa developments, no, of the Rigodon. So yeah.
Yeah, so, first, House impeaches Vice President Sara Duterte, and then second, the ICC confirms the arrest versus Senator Bato dela Rosa, and then the flood control scandal, is still ongoing, right? We're still trying to figure out who's the main mastermind. But with all of that said, do you think that the Filipino youth can still believe that politics will change their future? Pang Miss Universe
Yeah,
ba
Miss
to? Sorry.
Universe. But for me, yes, of course.
Yeah.
No, as long as we're here, then talking about it, it is possible. But right now, looking at it from the perspective also of, let's say, an ordinary youth, no, pataas din yung rate of youth disenfranchisement, no, na when all of these things are happening, the youth tend to also have this sentiment not to engage, no, lalo na doon sa mga kabataan from yung mga wala masyadong ginagawa, yung mga nasa bahay, no, yung mga taong school, no, we can see that, no, sa development and also sa participation, sa political participation, no, so sunod-sunod yung corruption, ganyan, the youth tend to disengage.
And with that, sorry, you unpacked a lot there, but the question is actually, there are three major issues that you mentioned a while ago. For just the casual viewer, somebody who is not up to date with what's happening today, how do we kind of help inform them, but also how do they also ingest all of these kinds of issues? How is the youth able, or how can they be able to balance these kinds of social issues and then in turn participate like you're mentioning?
Sobrang daming ways, no? Kung nakita natin online, when a group, I believe, started a survey, a petition for Sara's impeachment. So, I believe when it was launched, it just reached 100,000 of petitions. But when the House started also to vote on it, to act on it, it increased to 4 million petitions. So, imagine that kind of engagement na we can see yun nga, sabi, how do we balance it? Ang dami nangyayari. For me, first yung grounding it then on what is the essence of impeachment?
Yeah.
No, bakit ba natin kailangan to hold our officials accountable? Why do we need to go to this process again? Because as we all know, this is the second time, no, of this process. And second, why does it matter? No, it's a youth issue for us at Pantay. It's also an issue of equality. No, that when we fail to hold corrupt officials accountable, we are raising and widening the gap of inequality.
Yeah.
We're providing lesser rooms, no, for us in the minorities and vulnerable groups. No, so the more we fail to hold people accountable, the more we lose hope from the people and trust them.
Yeah.
I have a quick follow-up to that. Actually, maganda nga yung sinasabi mo, there are avenues for us to be aware, but also there are actionable steps. Are there any specific channels or actionable maybe events or forums that you can recommend to the youth of today for them to be more active with these social issues?
Yeah. Tomorrow, no, we'll go to the Senate. No, a lot of groups have expressed their willingness to go there because, as we all know, the Senate is bound to receive the articles of impeachment. So our goal as well is to call on the Senate to convene, no, an impeachment trial court forthwith. No, sabi sa ligang batas. So we call on our fellow youth, no, to join us, go to the streets. If we can march our phones, no, the digital spaces, most definitely we can go sa lansangan, no, sa espasyo kung nasaan yung pananagutan dapat.
Yeah, and actually yesterday in the Congress, we saw two separate sides present in front of the Batasang Pambansa, right? We saw the pro-impeachment groups, the bayan groups as well, and we saw the pro-Sara Duterte groups as well. And I guess my unpopular, but pretty much popular opinion would be, that's the way that democracy should be. Na everybody has the right to speak their mind, to mobilize. Everybody has the right na kumilos, diba? No matter what you believe in, right? And so it was a scary, sight to see, right? Kasi you could see them medyo nagkabanggaan sila. But, the voicing out of their opinions and again, the mobilization, I think it's a good exercise of our democracy.
You were also there yesterday, Frank, diba?
Yeah,
Were you?
Yeah,
No,
hindi pala tayo
we saw
nagkita.
Janina when she entered the gates. So yeah, we were there calling on the House to... Actually, we declared that Sara will be impeached. No, because we can see it in the numbers. And that's what they gave us. No? And it's a good thing to see as well na karamihan sa mga congresspersons natin represented the sentiments of the people, no, to push through with impeachment because the evidences have said and have it's factual, no, information we are faced with doon sa mga ginawa nilang investigations of the Committee on Justice. So most definitely they will say yes.
From your side, no, from your experience, do you see a protest fatigue happening in our generation? Is that something like people are getting exhausted, tired of? Parang kakailang trillion peso march na tayo,
Yes.
diba? Mga 3 or 4. Is that something that's happening?
Absolutely. We can see the mental health decline as well of young activists, advocates. But for us, sa amin sa Pantay, and also our sister groups, we prioritize care and activism. So we put care and in our work. We ensure that our comrades, our friends, our advocate mates will not be exhausted to the health. We exhaust our efforts, but we ensure that we provide care and say that rest is resistance.
But outside of the support that you're providing, are there other causes or roots to the protest fatigue? Kasi medyo vague din yung yung idea of nakakapagod nga mag-rally.
Yeah.
Definitely. To organize, to mobilize, especially in this weather, definitely tiring. But are there other greater causes of that protest fatigue that the youth is seeing that may make them polarized or maybe na nawawala na yung interest nila?
Nabanggit ko sa kanina that they can may malakas na tendency for them to disengage, yung youth disenfranchisement. And may tendency yun to go to social apathy, na wala na talagang paki yung mga tao. Kasi nga, we see all of these happenings na parang wala namang nangyayari. So, doon siya nagli-lead. And it's a sad thing that we also try to avoid, to see and to show them that there are progress that can be made.
Many young voters, Frank, are politically vocal online, but they tend to be a little bit more absent, during elections. Maybe we're talking about house to house, talking about community works, rallies. Is today's youth politically active or just performative?
Yung talks of being
Performative,
performative.
yes.
Totoo, But for us, our fight is a performance, It has to be shown from a way that other people might engage as well, harness public narratives, harness the general public that may be sleeping or tired. So it has to reach a certain degree of performance, that our activism in a way can invite others to join. But if you're going to talk at it from it being genuine, of course it has to be genuine. So we also look at it on how do we hold ourselves accountable? Are we still doing this for others, or maybe we're just doing it for ourselves? Mas ganun.
With that being said, actually, tying in the idea of social media activism as well, or being vocal on social media, there are different mediums on how people show their activism or how they want to be engaged on social media. Some of them may galit, may nakakatawa, may nagpapatawa, diba? And so on. There are a lot of voices. So now, it's very prominent sa generation natin ang memes.
Yeah.
What are your takes on political memes that you see on social
media? Actually, I think we have some memes prepared that we can.
I would love to see that. Absolutely, we infiltrate the spaces. Nasaan ba mga tao? Let's meet people where they are. So if they are in the streets, if they are in the digital spaces, let's go there. So palutangan natin yung narratives natin for good. We ensure na, as we all know, sa media side, yung kasinungalingan, yung disinformation pa nga yung mas consumable ngayon, na mas mabilis pa siyang mag-spread compared to facts, compared to genuine news from the mainstream and legacy. So, most definitely, we also make it youthful, gawin natin siyang, i-gensify natin yung information.
Yeah, and that's true what you mentioned, where are we actually? We're
definitely
all on Instagram, Threads.
Yeah, we're all scrolling.
We're all scrolling,
Right.
And so speaking of memes, with the fiasco that the Senate became yesterday, of course, the internet isn't holding back. We're not surprised. So we've got a few memes of Senator Bato right here. Yeah, we do. Can we show those right now? Okay.
Number one.
Oh gosh, okay. Tatakbo sa Senado and then in 2025 and in 2026.
He did run.
He did run.
Yeah. Ang narinig ko dyan, they thought that nakala nila maaaway yung mga tao kay Bato kapag pinopublicize nila
was
yung
that the
video of
narrative?
him running. Pero mas pinakita lang nila na that's what's happening inside Senate.
Yeah.
And he did run, nakita natin, no, tinakbuhan niya yung NBI, no.
Which is so interesting because I remember that he said, I think last year, na hindi siya takot sa
Humarap.
ICC. Humarap sa ICC.
He offered himself, no?
He offered himself. And so for me, I think it's very interesting the contrast of his statement, kasi pwede sabi-sabi lang, and to end up seeing the integrity, right? And how that really bore fruit here, where he was running.
So,
right?
May mahabang track record naman sila of not honoring their words.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to the next meme first and then we'll check out what we have.
Okay,
Ito
as
na
a
naman,
runner, this
Strava
one was
naman.
a little funny
Ito,
for
takbo ka ba?
me.
Mahilig, nagsastrava ka ba?
I walk.
Strava pa din yun.
So, ano naman yung take mo naman dito na
Okay.
may ruta pa?
May
sa, kung
ruta,
saan siya
no?
dumaan?
I believe naligaw siya, no, doon sa route, sa kanyang ruta. At ngayon, no, they use the Senate as their fortress,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
In fairness, 6:47 is not fast enough to get away from
But it's
NBI.
fairly fast, 6:47.
Okay lang yun.
Well, going
Mas
going
mababa
up a
PR
flight of
ko.
stairs, baka kasi yung elevation naman yung tinitingnan natin
Tama,
dyan.
tama. May,
Diba?
may elevation steps kasi.
Yes. Well, he
Saka
did get away.
May
pero-
team pa siya behind na yung luggage niya kasabay
Oo.
doon sa
Yeah.
pagkasan.
Yun yung importante yung maleta, definitely. Kailangan niya yun.
At least he was able to change clothes the next day.
Yun
May
din.
baon siya,
May
ready
baon siya, t-shirt, shorts, di ba?
So in your opinion, alam na ba natin, based on your comment, na he was planning a long-term stay in the Senate? That's why may dala siya mga maleta?
Mukhang ganun yung lumalabas, no? They are using the Senate as their fortress at nabanggit yan ni Alan Peter Cayetano
Yeah.
na kung ano man daw ang mangyayari, no, definitely they will participate. Pero mukhang hindi ganun nangyari ngayon. Nagtatago siya, nagsistaycation, na buong pamilya na sa loob, di ba?
Nasa loob.
Yeah, and even, Senate President now, Alan Peter Cayetano, said that he doesn't even condone yung habulan sa loob ng Senate. So that was super interesting. But we have one last meme for us on screen. Oh, wow, we have
Okay,
a big
nandito
screen.
ba?
Wow,
Live
galing. Okay.
Yan, astig.
This is the worst government and yung government. You know, honestly, this one really made me think, no, Frank. Kasi Bato was pointing fingers that this is the worst government when he's part of one of the, biggest governing bodies.
Yeah.
Well, checks and balances naman, I think to clarify also, this is
Tama.
the word government pointing towards the admin,
Yes.
diba? The executive branch. So what's your opinion naman on the executive branch's actions towards Senator Bato de la Rosa?
I think the executive is the worst right now because they are not acting upon it. No? If they can exert effort, no, sa paghuli ng mga mahihirap, no, kaya nilang hulihin si Bato na ngayon ay may may arrest warrant na, no. So yeah, and maybe Bato is also describing Senate, no, as part of government. So it is the worst right now.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm one of those people na sometimes I wonder about memes. I don't know personally where I stand when it comes to posting comedic pictures like this, right?
Satirical content in
Yeah,
general.
satirical content, especially because it's such a serious topic, right? But, Senator Riza makes a good point in her post here. She says, what does this say about the Senate's
About the
integrity?
Senate, no?
But before you answer this question, Frank, Unpopular Opinion will be right back. Welcome back. A while ago, we left with the question, what do the memes say about the Senate's integrity? But actually, I want to add a second part to that question. No? But what do the memes also say about the public's view of the Senate's integrity? So what do you think, Frank?
Yeah. I believe yung public ngayon is so disappointed, no, with what's happening. Sobrang dami nating progress na nagawa before this rigodon, this political maneuvering.
Yeah.
No? So imagine ang daming nakahanay na mga basic policy win sana na mangyayari, so for farmers, for basic sectors. But what happened yesterday, no, shocked us, no, na hinto lahat ng pagpapanalo natin, no, inside. At nakakadismaya yon, no. So I agree doon sa statement.
Can you
kanina
clarify a little bit, paano nahinto yung pagpapanalo ng mga bills na yon?
because as we all know, no, the committees will be shuffled again, no, the progress made will be retracted or will regress, no. At makikita natin example niyan ay yung sa committees, no, they will choose new committee
Yeah.
headships, no, for the new majority and the minority. So it's a huge step na naman to take.
You know, I didn't even think about that.
Man,
My eyes
yeah.
were focused on the impeachment.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Medyo nag-reset nga naman yung
Yeah.
ikot at salansan ng ating Senado. But hopefully, they calling them out also, diba? Hopefully, they still continue
Yes.
with the pressing issues that
Yeah.
are relevant, definitely, and necessary for the national agenda and whatnot.
Especially with Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano even stating or even quoting the Bible, no, that God's plans are to prosper
doon
us
sa
and not to
acceptance
harm
speech
us.
niya,
Yes,
doon sa
exactly. So hopefully that is true to how he governs now, even the
Yes.
shifting of the committees.
Sabi niya pa, hindi daw connected yung pagpapalit sa impeachment. Sinabi niya yon. At may narratives din na nag-raise na bakit impeachment yung inuunan natin, namin, hindi yung flood control reports. Pero
Totoo.
tignan natin, balik tayo konting months lang, weeks. Itong mga nasa new majority natin ngayon ay hindi nag-sign doon sa flood control
Yeah.
report being processed and done by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. So that's a big fact in our eyes.
And with that, yun nga, there's a call for accountability, there's a call for integrity right now. So, specifically with the Gen Z, our generation right now, how can our generation help hold these public officials accountable? What is the message that we have to tell the Gen Z? Ano yung thoughts niyo doon?
We start with what's we're faced with right now. There is an impeachment bound to happen, so we call on the Senate to do their moral and legal obligation to the people to convene a Senate impeachment trial court. So doon tayo mag-start. We paingayin natin yon, participation yon in itself. Kasi kapag hindi yan ginawa ng Senado, they are failing us. They are obstructing justice.
And
Yes.
before we go, diba, sinabi mo nga, right before that statement was, kailangan natin balansehin yung mga issue. So, just for us and the people at home also, ano yung mga bagay na kailangan malaman ng Gen Z na dapat balansehin ng Senado? What issues are pressing for you?
Definitely hindi dapat matigil na yung trabaho nila sa
Yeah.
Senado at hindi malunod dito sa mga nangyayari malinaw sa atin yon na yung impeachment hindi yan panggulo, hindi yan politicizing. So balancing it with the fact that this is their work, trabaho nilang gawin ito so at also ensure na yung rights services natin will be at the helm of their service.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Frank Araneta, for joining us today.
Thank you.
The generation they call unserious is turning memes into resistance and posts into protests. But before the viral posts and online noise is a real call for justice, accountability, and good governance.
Because when the people in power fail, it's our future that takes a hit. So we empower each other in ways older generations may not always understand. But the message remains clear and the call grows ever stronger. Once again, I'm Janina Vela, and if this episode got you thinking, then our work here is done.
And I'm Iolo Braganza. Agree or disagree? We said what we said. And that's another
Unpopular Opinion Unpacked.
Unpopular